If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check the referral links down in the description. They'll take you to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods already, and with the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well.
Hey guys, how's it going? Cheers back again and welcome to episode number 31 of the Inter Milan career mode here on FIFA 15. After yesterday's transfer targets episode, it's time to actually get moving in the window. Unfortunately, the opening two bids of the window aren't necessarily for two players that I want to see leave the club. Sami Handanovic and Mauro Icardi were two extremely important first team players for us last season, and we continue to get bids for them, but we've got 7 or 8 people on the transfer list trying to move them on to raise the extra funds we need to really improve the squad and the depth in quality in the squad so that we can challenge on all fronts this season. Obviously, we came close to challenging for Champions League football last year but missed out by the slimmest of margins. We did win the Europa League though, which was very important, and hopefully that will be, a nice boost to our stature as a club, and hopefully that will help entice a few new players to come in. At present, as you can see, we're looking at Marco Verratti for that midfield spot. I am willing to let Gary Medel leave to bring in someone like Marco Verratti, someone of that quality and that higher ability to hopefully improve the squad. We're also looking at maybe bringing in Roberto Pereira. He can play kind of a similar role to Gary Medel, but he's more of a Freddie Guarin type player. He's a little bit faster, but can play in centre mid or at cam. Perhaps more, actually, maybe more similar to Mateo Kovacic. But the preference is Marco Verratti, as you can see. Still trying to work out a deal for him. Safir Taider has come back from loan. I actually want to keep him for at least the beginning of the season, just to see how good he is. We can always move him on in January if it doesn't quite work out. And we're still trying to nail down the finances for this potential Roberto Pereira move. We're still looking perhaps for a centre mid, for a wide player, and for a centre-back as well. Obviously, I'm trying to move on both Hugo Campagnaro and Nemanja Vidic and Ranocchia. So we really do need a centre-back if we could possibly get one in. We've got Fabian Schär, we've got Alvarez Balanta, we've got Juan Jesus, but I would like an extra defender as well, because of course we do play a 3 at the back formation. But one player that you guys seemed keen on me having a look at was Lucas Romero. His name popped up in not only this series, but the career mode Road to Glory as well. Unfortunately, I can't afford him in the Road to Glory series with Cambridge United, but we could bring him in this one at Inter. And another player I'm extremely interested in to bring in out wide is Gökhan Toure. He looks like an extremely good player, and if I can work out some sort of deal for a player plus cash deal to save myself some extra funds, then I will definitely be more favourable towards that. But as you can see, still getting offers in for Mauro Icardi. He's not on the transfer list, and I don't want to let him leave, but again, continue to get bids in. I'm not going to reject all of them, because it is interesting to see which teams are interested in Mauro Icardi. Like this one from Barcelona. Didn't expect a team of that size to be interested in him, but clearly they are. We do get a bid though, finally, for a player that I do want to sell. Andrea Ranocchia bid for £7 million from Sunderland, and I accepted it, but unfortunately he's unwilling to relocate from Italy, so the transfer talks broke down, so he's still at the club. So it looks like we're going to have to try and wait for an offer from an Italian side, or at least a side that's perhaps a little bit closer to home than all the way over in England, so that we can actually get him out the door. Still trying to work out the details for this potential Gökhan Toure deal as well. I've got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak, a lot of potential deals that we could get done that we're trying to work out in this episode, and I still need to make sure that I move on 2 or 3 players to free up the extra funds that we need, because our transfer budget, whilst it is a substantial amount, isn't quite enough to bring in the amount of quality that we need to bring in to really challenge on all fronts. Now, Sunderland unfortunately weren't able to bring in Ranocchia, but then they turned their attentions to my other centre-back, Eder Alvarez Balanta, but he definitely is not going anywhere. Another player that you guys recommended was Zlatko Junuzovic, and actually he looks very good indeed. He's a little bit older than Lucas Romero at 27, but he's a similar sort of player to the other players we've been looking at. He can go forward and he's good offensively and he's quite solid in the tackle as well. And that's the sort of midfielder I'm looking for. I mean, an all-round midfielder, a box-to-box type player. But another defender that you guys recommended to me was Kyriakos Papadopoulos, obviously of Schalke, was previously at loan at Bayer Leverkusen in the first season. And I'll try and use Ranocchia as make-weight for this deal, because obviously he's a centre-back I want to get out the door if possible. We'll offer just £4 million plus Ranocchia. We then get an offer in for Cherdan Shaqiri, who's another player I don't want to see leave the club. It's weird. I've got like at least 7 or 8 players on the transfer list, plus 5 or 6 kids available for loan, and I'm getting bids for everybody but the players I want to see leave the club, which is completely perplexing to me. But regardless, we do get an offer in here for Gary Medel, but I'm trying to use him as make weight in the deal here for Lucas Romero, so I have to hold off on that potential cash-only deal to try and see if we can use him to bring in Lucas Romero here. As you can see, offering him a contract, the bid of £2 million plus Gary Medel was accepted, so it's a straight swap plus a tiny bit of cash, which is definitely affordable, and hopefully Lucas Romero will accept that contract offer, and as you can see, confirmation he has accepted that contract offer. So our first signing of the window is complete. Lucas Romero comes in from Vélez in Argentina, and he will slot into the first team rotation side. And obviously we'll have Mateo Kovacic and Moussa Sissoko and Freddy Guarin as the main 3 central midfielders. And then we've got Safir Taider and the new Lucas Romero in the rotation spots for the centre mid spots. And hopefully he can be a good player for us. Unfortunately, they didn't quite want to accept the bid with Ranocchia for Papadopoulos. But I'll try with Jonathan, that I think is the player I go for in the end here. And I think I up it to 6 million as well. So perhaps the extra cash and a different player will entice them into accepting. And we actually finally get a loan offer for one of our kids as well. Isaac Donkor went out on loan last year. He'll do so again this year, and hopefully he can continue to improve. And they did accept the offer of Jonathan plus 6 million for Papadopoulos. So we'll offer him a contract a little bit less than what he's asking for, but it is what he's currently on. And we have had finally the offer accepted for Gökhan Toure as well at £20 million plus Ricardo Alvarez, which is the midfielder, of course, not the centre-back, which is Alvarez Balanta. Key to point out, not letting my key centre-back go. But the problem is with that Gökhan Toure deal is I need to sell other players on to be able to afford to bring him in. As you can see, Kyriakos Papadopoulos has accepted the contract offer, so he'll be coming in. That's 2 signings now in the window, Lucas Romero and Papadopoulos. We continue to get bids for Mauro Icardi. If I wanted to sell him, I could probably get upwards of 25 million for him. So it's something to bear in mind if we need some extra cash, and we will need some extra cash if we want to bring in Gökhan Toure. But the only thing is, Mauro Icardi, whilst I didn't really get on with him last year, he still scored an incredible amount of goals, to be completely honest. So I'm really unsure as to what to do with him. He's 80 rated now. He grew really well last year as well, and obviously could continue to do so this year, only at 22 years of age. This is the transfer budget as it stands. We've got about 18 million left and about £90,000 in the transfer, but in the wage budget, sorry. And then about 90 grand is what I offered Gökhan Toure. So I need about another 2 million to be able to afford to bring him in on that particular deal. But I'm tempted, so sorely tempted, to sell Samir Handanovic. He wasn't necessarily outstanding for us last year, and we could get, if we bargain well, upwards of £30 million for him. Now, I would be open to letting him go and keeping Mauro Icardi. However, if I can't sell Handanovic, I may be forced to let Icardi go to bring in some more talent, because we just need the money. So unfortunately, someone is going to be forced out of the club. I'm just unsure yet as to which player that's going to be. I'm leaning towards Handanovic, not only because he's less integral to the way the team plays, obviously as a goalkeeper, but also his value is higher and I could get more for him. So we could let Handanovic go and maybe bring in someone like Bernd Leno as a first-team goalkeeper. Some people were saying in the comment section last season that Francesco Bardi there, the goalkeeper, actually is glitched, and if I play him a lot, he'll actually grow to an incredible rating. So I'm not really too sure what how much truth there could be in that. And we've still got Carrizo, the 74 rated goalkeeper as well from the first season that was our backup last year. So we do have alternatives should we be unable to bring in a replacement for Handanovic. But I think I'm going to let Samir go to bring in the funds to bring in, 3 or 4 different players. We'll have to wait and see. I'm as of yet undecided, and we'll play it by ear for the rest of the transfer window. Tomorrow we'll have a couple of friendlies against, the second one's against Chelsea. I can't quite remember who the first one's against. I think it's Dijon, but I'm not entirely too sure. And then obviously we'll get some more transfer dealings done tomorrow, hopefully. And then we'll have, I'm thinking actually of maybe doing the Super Cup as a live com against Real Madrid. We'll have to wait and see. I'll decide on that later on in the week. But for now, that's going to bring today's episode to a close. So thank you very much for watching. Of course, feel free to drop the video a like if you enjoyed it. It really does help the channel out when you do that. And obviously subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As I record this on Saturday afternoon, we haven't yet hit 60k, but I'm pretty sure by the time you see this on Tuesday afternoon we will have. So thank you very much for 60,000 subscribers. I'll be putting out a notification video probably on Sunday saying or asking for questions for a Q&A that I'm planning on doing. So hopefully you guys saw that. If you didn't, check the channel page for it. But like I say, end of today's episode is now. Thank you very much for watching. There'll be a My Player later on tonight, a stream this evening as well. Check all the links in the description, and I'll see you next time.